listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host.
Sought by the minister. Institution.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today. What you heard in the background there was me listening to the meeting of the Finance Committee here in our Parliament. My apologies for that. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor. Like I reminded those of you who were listening this morning for the record that I would be on this afternoon as well. We had some guests scheduled, but circumstances have changed that. They're pretty busy dealing with other national issues as well, so we fully understand that as well. So we should have an open line all afternoon until 2:30. So please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen. Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990. 949-8037 or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host. Our phone lines are open. Toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp 925-3261. If you have been listening in any way to the proceedings in our Finance Committee, they started a little bit late, but they finally got going. I can give you a little recap of some of the things that I caught. I think the deputy leader of the opposition sought to postpone the committee meeting because all members of Parliament were not there. Turned out that 18 of the 19 members are there. I believe it's Honourable Juliana O'Connor Connolly, who was off island returning this afternoon as well. That request was unsuccessful since the chairman of the Finance Committee, who's the minister responsible for finance, Honourable Ralston Anglin, pointed out that, most of the members were there except for one. The committee seemed to get off on a sort of little contentious start. I would say that later on it sort of subsided somewhat, and members were not as, I don't want to use the word aggressive because it wasn't really that, but some were, being assertive or terse in terms of their responses and everything. That sort of settled down after a while as well. And I would imagine that the role of the chairman of a committee, similar to the role of the speaker, where they have to recognize that the government must have their day, but the opposition should also have their say. And that is a recognition, even though the chairman of a committee probably has maybe more latitude than the speaker to a certain extent. One of the glaring things that came out of the questioning, though, and I made a note of this because this is extremely, extremely important. The question and the revelation of the board compensation for members of the Board of the Health Services Authority. Of course, those members are appointed by cabinet, usually, I would imagine, with some input from the minister with responsibility for that particular entity, as well as input from other members of cabinet. And depending on how gracious they are, maybe other members of parliament as well, because there are some boards that require district representation as well. And I would imagine that in those instances where a district is not represented in cabinet, then they may refer to the member of parliament for any recommendations to any boards. But it turns out, folks, that it appears as if the board members of the Health Services Authority, regular members, receive 500 CI dollars, not Jamaican, not US, 500 CI dollars per meeting. The deputy chair, I believe, is something like either 750 or 850, and the chair receives like $150 more than the deputy chair. It was brought out that over the years, the annual payment for the board went from something like about $23,000 per year up to $200,000 per year, exceeding, folks, listen to this, exceeding the compensation that is paid to board members of Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. Now, one may debate, and one may say, well, health is more important, and there would be a strong argument for that. Health, the health is important. One would argue that our monetary policy and the responsibility for monitoring financial services in the Cayman Islands and the responsibility of the board of the Monetary Authority may be higher. It depends on, it's to a certain extent a value judgment, but the compensation paid annually to members of the Health Services Board exceeds that paid to the Board of the Monetary Authority. In addition to that, the member for Bordentown West also revealed, and what he said when he asked the question, or during the asking of the question, was that he never asked the question unless he knows the answer to it. So he knew what the answer was, and he revealed the answer as well. That sometimes it was not unusual for the Health Services Board to meet at least 4 times for a month. And there are boards that meet quite more, as frequent as that or more, depending on what they have to do. Like, for instance, the Work Permit Board or the Business Staffing Plan Board or the Status and Permanent Residence Board, because they have many applications to deal with. But it was revealed that they possibly may have, and sometimes meet at least 4 times for the month. But not only that, and this one may sound familiar to those of you who stay in the loop of what's happening with government boards, that sometimes they met 2 times per day. Now, if they met 2 times per day, and on each meeting they are paid $500, $800 and something or whatever, we know that those accusations, I would say, were leveled at another board at one point in time, the housing, I forget what the name, what was called for housing, where it was alleged that the same thing happened. They would have a meeting, adjourn the meeting or end the meeting, resume later on, and call it 2 meetings for a day. So you get 2 board stipends for that. That, to me, my personal opinion on that, folks, that to me is not right. It is playing the system if that is what occurred, and people need to be outed for it, and maybe it is something that the Auditor General's office should look into as well. I serve on a board, and if I don't attend a meeting, I don't get a stipend. We have a meeting, we may break for lunch and resume, but it is 1 meeting. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. If you have any views or any information in relation to that, please feel free to join me in the conversation. Talk Today will be back shortly.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just the delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Kim and Brack and Little Cayman. poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its Cayman Brac customers of a planned service interruption on the south side of the island. The interruption will take place on Friday, 13th June 2025 from midnight to 4 a.m. and will impact Southside Road West, Gerard Smith Avenue, including all side roads, the southern section of Cross Road beginning at the intersection with Gerard Smith Avenue and extending towards the airport. This interruption will take place to facilitate distribution system tests. The motoring public is asked to be cautious while driving in the area, as our crew will be actively working on the road during this time. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates the public's understanding.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Before we grab the caller, I just want to, several persons had been inquiring earlier, and I want to share with you the update from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And it says that police recover item of clothing connected to missing man Andrel Harris, and that's dated today, the 6th of June. And it reads, police can confirm that the item of clothing which was seen during searches yesterday has been recovered and examined by police. An item belonging to Mr. Harris has been found within. The family has been notified of this development, and the assigned family liaison officer continues to support the family. Search operations will continue throughout the day, led by the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, and supported by our partner agencies and members of the public. Further updates will follow as additional information is available. So that's the last update and confirmation that the item of clothing which was seen during searches yesterday has been recovered and examined by police, and an item belonging to Mr. Harris has been found within. Again, so sad to hear what we're hearing so far. No conclusions can be drawn at this stage. We can speculate, but no conclusions can be drawn, and we continue to rely on the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service to update us with accurate information that can only come from them. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, WhatsApp caller, I think. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Okay, and sad to hear that about the young man, Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Yeah, very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Concerning what you were speaking about just now with how much the board members are being paid per meeting. Well, I was concerned and was hoping that we would have heard something from the government already concerning what they're going to do about this minimum wage that Mr. Hurlston and them worked so hard to get to. And it seems as though the government, last government with Dwayne Seymour, claims as though it's going to negatively affect people more than it's going to help them. Which means they have to see what kind of work people are doing, and who are paying them, what kind of money they're making, and work on it from there. But the majority of the people that voted for them, whether this government or the government before, the majority of the people, I do believe, are dependent on this minimum wage. And the price of everything else is going up. Light bill, water bill. Cayman must have the highest light bill and water bill in the whole entire world. And then it seems as though the company or the department that are supposed to be regulating these people, CUC and the water company, it comes in as though they can't do nothing. I don't know where they're paying them a pile of money for either. But anytime you see water bills and light bills are able to go up every year, as these companies please to do, then the other companies have to pay these bills, these increases of light bills and water bills, which stops these other companies now from being able to pay the minimum wage, the new minimum wage, because they're not able to increase the salary of their employees. Because every time around, CUC going up, water bill going up, how can these small companies afford to increase the salary of their employees when the government is allowing CUC and water company to be doing as they please? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. I just want to point out in relation to the increase in the minimum wage, I saw where the British Virgin Islands sought to do the same, actually approved an increase. They have now decided that that increase will be phased in. It won't be done in one full swoop, but will be phased in as well. We have another caller there, Miss Susan. I think we have a call coming in on a WhatsApp number. Caller, WhatsApp number. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, OC, again. I just wanted to chime in a little bit on this issue that you raised about being paid for two meetings.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. If I can begin on an attempt, a little bit of levity. There was a movie some time back, I forget the name of it, where somebody took a horse and made it like the kicker of field goals in their team, because it could kick better, you see. And then when the umpire asked, "No, but why are you using a horse?" They said, no, but it's because the rule book doesn't say that the kicker has to be a human being, So now, of course, the point of that is that there are certain things really which are understood. And I guess, you see, this is the problem also they've wound up in the United States. I mean, in practice, it has been that a president does not, they give up their business interests, they put them in a blind trust while they are in the office. But when the current president came in, he said, "Where is that written?" And they told him, no, but it's a practice. He said, "Well, then I don't have to follow it." So look at what has happened. Now, but to address the issue really, it is, of course, a gaming of the system. I think it is a reasonable understanding that when you say you are going to be paid for one meeting, at least that meeting takes place on that one day. I think if you adjourn it to the next day, you may have an argument.
Right.
Because after all, adjournments are very often made. Sometimes you might meet only for 2 hours in the morning because some people have to go elsewhere, and then you meet in the afternoon. No, the understanding is that if you meet any number of times on that particular day, I think that's how much you should get paid. And when you look at the amounts that are paid, you would imagine that this was the assumption as well, 500 per meeting, 750 for a chairman, probably 750 or maybe 1,000. But the other thing is, I just want to relate to you and to the listeners. One thing that I experienced also when I was writing a certain piece of legislation, I won't tell you which one it is because I'm still bound to some degree not to disclose people who were at this meeting and that meeting or what the legislation is. But it happened that during this, when I was writing this piece of legislation, and as usual, I've got my instructing officials over there. You know what that means, or see?
Yes.
My instructing official.
That's what. Yeah, I think that's one of the times when I first met you when we were doing some election. Legislation. Yes, over the Anderson Square building. I believe.
Yes. And then later did a little bit of later worked a little bit together on district council and freedom of information and so on. So now there was a meeting. Now, I would say that this did not arise from one of our meetings. Okay. Now, anyway, this meeting when it arose, we were dealing with that provision which says that when you come into a meeting and if you are an interested party in the application, you must recuse yourself. Okay. So one of my instructing officials said that they were running into a problem in some cases. What would happen is that a matter comes up to be discussed, and then a member says, well, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman, I can't discuss in this matter, I can't be involved in this discussion because I've got an interest in the matter. And then the person then would say, well, but I want to make some general observations, about this. This person, I know him, is my cousin, but these are unofficial observations, but I just want to make them, Mr. Chairman. And then they will go ahead and say, well, you see, if we don't give a license to a person like this, who are we looking for, A, B, C, and so on. So they say all these things which are in support of this application where they've already declared the interest. But then they say, well, but these are just informal observations, Mr. Chairman, like I've already recused myself. So So I told the instructing official, I said, okay, let's write it differently. So we wrote in this particular piece of legislation that whenever somebody declares an interest, they shall not make any formal or informal comments on it. They shall leave the room where the matter is being discussed and shall not return until a decision is made. Yes. And they don't even necessarily have to be privy to the decision that has been made either. Exactly, because at the end of the day, once you have recused yourself, you have recused yourself. You should not try to get through the back door what you couldn't get in the front door, because you should not even people should not even know what you think about it. That's because by voicing that, you have already influenced the other members. Exactly, you've already influenced the other members. But something has just come into my mind very, very quickly. This was now dealing with somebody outside as a consultant with somebody on the same issue. This person actually said that, you see, it is necessary to have a rule which says that when you declare your interest, you shouldn't say what your interest is. Because if you say that I'm recusing myself because the applicant here is my cousin. Okay? Yes. And in writing legislation, I had never thought of that. And since then, I think it is something that needs to be considered. I haven't seen it in legislation, but I don't think you should say what the interest is, because that in itself might influence it. So true. Thank you very much. Thank you very. Take care. About the issue about Okay. Thank you. Please do so as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
The Cayman Turtle Center's Turtle Crawl 5K is back, Sunday, June 8th, starting from the Cayman Turtle Center at 6:30 a.m. Registration is $25 CI and includes a race shirt and a goodie bag. All funds raised will support conservation of green sea turtles in the Cayman Islands. Corporate discounts are available by emailing info@turtle.ky. Register now for the Turtle Crawl 5K at turtlecrawl.ky. Proudly sponsored by Stingray Media, Double M Distribution, Health City, and Gatorade.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Any calls on hold, Miss Susan? Any calls on hold? One caller? Okay, let me, we're going to grab that caller. Let me just read this first. The person has asked me, please read on the talk show, we are in need of a bigger plane for the BRAC. I had a doctor's appointment for the 25th of June at 10 a.m., but could not get a seat on the SAB aircraft and had to cancel my doctor's appointment for another date. Need a plane like a 70-seater, leaving the BRAC at 8:30 in the morning and leaving Grand Cayman at 5:30 to come back to the BRAC. In between those flights, the plane could go to Honduras and Cuba, etc. So they asked me to read that. I have read it. I would imagine that, well, the frequency of flights and the aircraft that is used, that airlines would normally rely on data to support any decision that they make. But we do know that the sister islands, the BRAC and Little Cayman, completely different. And if we are if we have made a decision that we're going to subsidize what goes on in the BRAC, that we're going to help them, then we basically need to do it, and we would have to throw the data out of the window as well. No doubt, possibly if the Health Services Authority could save some money, then maybe it could go towards aircraft. I'm just saying and just being sarcastic. Let's grab our caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Was he?
Yep, right here. Go right ahead.
All right. Yeah, so I listened to the rest of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
This morning.
Mm-hmm.
And you said a line, right, that I heard Kenneth Bryan say before.
What was that?
Because other countries do it, we must do it. That's what I heard you and.
I think I asked the question is because of whether or not because other countries that we should do it to. That was in the form of a question that I posed it.
Yeah, but I kind of take it from not you, but from Kenneth Bryan. Like, well, that's an excuse, not to go through with the ganja reform or ganja decriminalization, right?
Mm.
So hold on now. Why that same question wasn't asked when it was about the LGBTQ?
Mm.
Why that wasn't? Why? Not you, OC.
No, I'm not taking it personal. I got broad shoulders.
Yeah, man. I know you can hold it, man. Why that question wasn't asked about the LGBTQ? Because, I mean, you're so ready to say in, broadcast that. Well, why should we follow other countries? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We know Cayman follows other countries in certain things, especially immigration and politics and corporate rule and all them type of things. We understand that. But then when it comes to freeing up this plant, you're quick to say, why should we follow other countries? And just to give you an example of one country, right? You see Thailand?
Mm-hmm.
Thailand made it legal not too long ago, right? Before in Thailand, if you got caught with ganja or anything, you know what the sentence was for that?
Mm-mm.
The sentence was death by a firing squad.
Okay.
Okay. Now you see how they reverse and they totally acknowledge that they were wrong, right? Cayman don't do that. Cayman don't use no firing squad. But in a way, it's the same thing because we stifle, like, you understand? We can't get no further after we get this type of police record on us. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is Cayman too proud to admit that they're wrong, or is it very beneficial, like I said again, to keep it illegal? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember now, like I said, you're ready to say, why should we follow other countries, especially when it comes to this ganja thing, but when it comes to the LGBTQ, which I know majority of us didn't have no say in that.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
No, you make a valid point. You make a valid point.
To follow other countries in legalizing that,
mm-hmm.
but not thing there. You understand?
Yep.
So these are kind of hypocritical things or hypocrite ways that we're having a problem with. Plus, what Elvis said today, we already voted twice on not having the port, but it come in like, oh, it really don't matter. That's what he's saying. When they're supposed to do the will of the people, and the will of the people voted for not having the port.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that means now what? The government not really for us. That's true.
That could be interpreted that way, at least not for that particular issue.
And I didn't say anything that was like conspiracy or thing. I said everything just now. That's all factual. We heard everybody say that, right?
Yep.
So I think they should really, like I said, when you grow older, I think the main thing to understand is like you're not in competition anymore. You understand? It's best you try to work with people.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
And when you grow older, it's kind of like, kind of having a certain attitude or humbleness in practicing humility. You understand? If you can't practice that, then I don't think you should ever be a leader, and I don't think you should ever be considered a part of this society.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah, you have to be humble. You have to humble yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we can tell they're wrong, right? Because now they've been doing the same thing over and over and over for 70 years, and the ganja's still here. So, but they won't admit that they're wrong. Only thing is they want to prove is that we are not redeemable. You understand? Because we smoke ganja. That's the whole thing. Not true. That's a sad point in this Cayman history, and I hope they will change that as fast as possible. I hope Kenny Bryan listening. I hope he calling after me.
No, he might. I think he's still in finance committee. I believe they're still there. When up until 12:15, 12:20, they were still in there.
Oh, they're still eating lunch? Okay.
No, they weren't eating lunch. They were doing the people's work.
Oh, people's work. Oh, I didn't know they did that. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good day, Otis.
You too, man. Take care. Folks, we're going to our headline news. When we return, we have several callers on hold. We will take those callers, so don't change that dial. Don't hang up that phone. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The search continues for 34-year-old journalist Andrel Harris, who was reported missing after not showing up for work on Wednesday. He was last seen walking near Pedro Castle in Bodentown around 9:30 on Tuesday. Ground, aerial, and coastal searches continue into day 3 with emergency services and volunteers. In regional news in Antigua, senior ministers lead a high delegation to China, engaging in talks aimed at deepening collaboration across health, agriculture, fisheries, the blue economy, education, and innovation. Sir Molin Joseph, joined by Ministers Anthony Smith Jr. and Darrell Matthews, leads the delegation, which held discussions in Shanghai, where investments and knowledge-sharing opportunities were explored. Chinese counterparts expressed strong interest in partnerships to strengthen food security, sustainable fisheries, medical technology, and education. In other regional news, Trinidad Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Besesar has reaffirmed her administration's commitment to introducing stand-your-ground legislation despite concerns from the opposition. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles urged caution, citing Florida's rise in firearm-related homicides after similar laws were enacted. Former Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi raised concerns about its application in public spaces. The Prime Minister defended the proposal, arguing citizens should not have to retreat in their own homes when faced with threats. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. A few callers on hold. Let's grab the first caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Orrett.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, doing good so far. And taking a hard day. Easy. Hello?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, I would just want to chime in a little bit of what the last caller was speaking about. You know, back to this morning's discussion when we were talking about this thing with catching criminals and things. On that article with reading how the tactics that they're using with the catching of criminals, some of these dangerous criminal, high-profile criminals with the Al Capone ways. And I was just thinking of it. It's so sad to know that one of those ways is through marijuana, because I know for sure they even do that with the unemployment reasons that we have on this island as well. Some of the things, you know, I'm honestly, a few people discourage me from the topic, marijuana, but it's a part of my life. It's a part of the way I live, because I have to cope with certain things, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people on this island have to cope with things too.
And it helps you, and it helps you with your as a coping mechanism.
Yes,
okay.
It calms me down because I'm hyperactive,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing I need to do is take my time and really think of the words that I'm going to say. Marijuana helps me with that. Not entirely, I use it all day, but in the mornings, that's my main thing that I deal with. A little cup of coffee, and just before I go to sleep. This is the type of stuff that where people meditate. It's called having a peace of mind. And a lot of people on this island don't have that because they barely mind their own business. And you see, when it comes into the marijuana, we got a lot of people here that it don't bother anybody, but then yet you see someone coming in up in their bag, having their nose up in their bag like some dirty dogs. And really and truly, that's a very bad habit when you have a dog that jump up on top of someone whenever time they see a person come to the yard, right? I don't encourage my dog to do so. My dog barks. But this is what's happening to our island right now. We have marijuana as one of the main reasons we have unemployment, one of the main reasons we have people in jail for some of the pettiest reasons. The pettiest reasons, just because some people on this island don't like the smell of it, or some people on this island just know that that's something illegal or it's not right to their eyes because they don't do it. You know, I believe that we must learn how to respect each other. We live on a small little tiny island. Marijuana has never killed anybody as far as I know. And if it has, I'm yet to hear it, because if it was to happen, it would have been a brick of marijuana fell out of the sky and hit them in the head. But you know what? That's not happening. So until then, I don't see no reason as to why it is so difficult, or it would be so difficult to decriminalize it without any real complication, because we've been talking about it for so long. Other countries have done it before, and we need to honestly look into it, because we have a parliamentary system, and I believe with the parliamentary system we should be at least knowledgeable enough to talk to the people of the country what they think is a good suggestion for them, not for the ones in power.
Yeah, I honestly believe that the government, and I don't purport to speak for the government, but I honestly do believe that the Parliament, once the government brings the legislation, the proper legislation, that it will be passed by Parliament. What they have to bring to Parliament is something, a bill that will be acceptable to the UK in terms of the UK's international obligations. And if that is done, then it will be assented to by the governor on behalf of the United Kingdom. I do believe that that's going to happen, but we have to give the Parliament and the Cabinet, time to do so. They've only been in government for 1 month now. So we have to give them time. I don't think we should pass judgment on them, and I think it would be helpful, rather than being critical, to say things and do things that will encourage them, right?
Yeah,
Use the carrot rather than the stick.
I believe so too, that really and truly we must give them time. I've always said that. I've had patience. I mean, we've been waiting long enough. This could have never happened, actually, if human rights didn't come through the table as well. But with as being human, I think that we need to take in consideration that as of now, really, we should start practicing the reason to respect each other when it comes into these things. It takes practice to make perfect.
Yep.
And this is how we should do it. If we can't do it now, I don't see how it can work if we ever change anything.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks very much. Let's grab the next caller. No caller? Okay, yeah. So this person has sent a message and said regarding in respect of members of government boards, person says that they served on a government board for years. Payment was $100 per meeting, which sometimes went on, the meetings which sometimes went on for hours. If I didn't attend a meeting, I wasn't paid. I remember the days when the Immigration Board, Work Permit Board, when everything was housed over at where Customs and Border Control is now opposite the government administration building. And it wasn't unusual. Members would start in the afternoon. It wasn't unusual for them to leave sometimes like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Now, sometimes they would, after the meeting, they would be outside, chatting for hours afterwards. But that, and I don't even believe that they got $100 per meeting at that point in time. So the person says it would seem in some instances that names of all members of specific boards are submitted for payment. In other instances, the names of absent members were rightfully not submitted. It seems to depend on the department making the submission for payment. Well, normally the secretary or the assistant secretary to the boards would record those in attendance to ensure that those not in attendance would not be compensated for that particular meeting. One of the boards that I sit on, you have to sign that attendance sheet at every meeting. But for any board, and I remember now it was the National Housing and Development Trust, that it was alleged that they had their board meeting in the morning, adjourned, I guess went for lunch or whatever, returned, and then had another board meeting. So that was counted as 2 meetings in 1 day. To me, that is thievery. And if it is happening, it needs to stop. The respective ministers, chief officers, or whatever, or if you have to bring in Auditor General or Standards in Public Life, Commission for Standards in Public Life, it needs to be investigated. It needs to stop. Okay, I think I have another message here. Let's see what that one says. Thanks for keeping the show live and lively. We need to be a little more non-judgmental when we select persons in particular areas where okay, let me find it again. where and when they no longer can produce quality and quantity. Give others the same recognition that may bring value to such a venue. Thank God. Honestly, I couldn't take. Okay. President said they couldn't take the time. We're going to make this. All shows on Radio Cayman, we try to impart information, knowledge, and at the same time try to get feedback from you, to listen to you as well. So it's not called a talk show for nothing. It's talk on both ends, though. Talk on both ends. I do believe we have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
And that's why it's called For the Record. Mr. Connor, how are you?
I'm good, my dear. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Now, what I'm going to say, I don't want you to tell me you get good service because you're one of them big official government people.
No more government. No more government.
I'm just one of them small chat. So, let me express myself. Up there at agriculture ground there, where they sell the mesh and the food for the cows and whatever. Mr. Connor, they got the nastiest and unreliable and lies customer service at that compound. I've been dealing with them for the last 4 months, going there or calling them for this ground mesh. Oh, they ain't got none. They didn't know when it's coming. And I said, well, you want to tell me y'all don't get heads up on when you order stuff, they'll be here in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever. No, we don't get nothing like that. I said, really? Okay. So I left it alone and called back 2 weeks' time. Nothing. My girlfriend, she called me and she said, you know that they got that ground mesh up there and they're not selling that because they hasn't priced it as yet. I said, really? So I goes up there and I asked the young lady to come to get some ground mesh. We don't have any ground mesh as yet. I said, really? I said, someone just told me that there's ground mesh on this compound here and I need to know if I can get some. So there was one man behind her and she asked him and he told her, yes, the ground mesh is here but it's not priced yet. This is almost 2 weeks now that it's here but not priced. So I called up there now yesterday and asked them if the ground mesh has been priced. No, the person that's going to price it is not in yet. So hopefully it should be priced by this after. Therefore, yesterday, Wednesday, I think I called up. So it should have been priced like probably yesterday after lunchtime, right? So anyhow, today now I just say I'm not calling no more. I'm going up there. I go up there and the ground mesh has gone up too tremendously. Unbelievable for a government business. But I hope they pay. They do this at the port for it. That's all I got to say about that. But Mr. Connor, the customer service, it stinks. The young lady, I went and told her what I wanted, and she took my money. She now tell me thank you. I said thank you too. And you're welcome. I said no. You were supposed to say thank you. And I said welcome. You understand? So now goes now to the fence as if you're in prison. And the security's there of his own talk in his own language, not pay me no mind. And the other little Caymanian guy that now he walking like a horse. I must say he walk like a little horse up there. And not the first time going there. And, the guy still on his phone talking, not pay me no mind. And I spoke to him, I said, listen to me. I need some customer service. You need to try to put that phone down and take care of your customers. And he went away with the paperwork and took a few minutes before he came back and then turned around and put it back in the other little guy's hand. So he must have finished his phone conversation and got mad with me because I say what I say.
Wow.
But to say that they got to have a security there, taking that little piece of paper and ticking that off, and you want to tell me that little young guy is there or another Caymanian can't go and do that, Mr. O.C.? You know?
Yep.
It's not right. And the lady there buying some stuff, and she actually had like a garbage bag or something, whatever. And just how they sold that stuff that she had to throw in her car. I mean, the house, not even a garbage bag they could give you to put a bag or whatever in or cover up the top of it so it doesn't really fly like that stuff and feed the horses and stuff. What do you call that? The hay and whatever. They have no customer service. And then you got to talk about you got to have a farming ID to come there to get a discount. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You have to be registered, or you have to be on someone who's a registered farmer. You can be on that person's card to do that. Yeah, that is the case.
So the person that went with me together say, well, you know, I work in government. I say I work government too. They wouldn't give me a discount. But he said, I tell you what though, when you go to a liquor store and buy liquor, they give government staff a discount. I say, yeah, to go and kill people on the street.
But it's not based. It's not based on whether or not you're a government employee. You have to be a registered farmer or on that registered farmer's list. For instance, I am on to someone. So when I go, I give their name, they look and they see that my name is there along with the registered farmer, and I get my discount.
Yeah, but the guy was just really joking.
Okay, got you. Okay.
To it, you know.
But I tell you, the service that we get in this island for our dollar bill today, it doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it. And I got to take my hat off to the young man after he was driving from one machine to the next machine. And this security just sitting down there on his phone and taking the papers from you. No, man. That's inhumane to our people.
Yeah, no. Okay, thank you. What I wanted to say was that what people have to understand is that in other jurisdictions where they feel that they can treat customers whatever way that they want to, they have to understand that we here in the Cayman Islands, Caymanians, have much higher standards. We have higher expectations in terms of the quality of service that is dispensed to us, because when we are in the position of dispensing service, we do it respectfully and we do it honorably as well. But a lot of them, if they're not from the Cayman Islands, if they're not Caymanian, because they're in some position of authority, and I put that in quotation, authority, they feel that they can do anything. And that we don't accept that here. And they need to understand that.
I heard too that a lot of the bosses give them the permission to do what they do to people here on this island. I don't know what makes them so powerful in making a paycheck any bigger. You understand? But it needed to stop.
Yep.
It's crazy. But anyhow, darling, later but greater.
Okay. Enjoy the weekend.
You too. Good.
Okay. Anyone else in hold? Okay. In 8 minutes, we're going to go to our commercial break. I wanted to share something with you because it's happening here in Cayman. It's happening in Bermuda as well. They had to do it a little bit earlier. Okay, we have a caller, so I'm going to take the call. But I'll just say to you that the Bermudan government, the Ministry of Economy and Labor and the Department of Immigration, they have updated their work permit policy. I think the document now is in discussion form, but I would like to share some of that with you. First of all, I would like to say, and I've pointed out before, that we, in 1972, our Caymanian Protection Law, first of all, the name was adopted from the Bermuda law. The Bermudan one is called the Bermuda Immigration and Protection Act. So maybe we may want to just call ours Caymanian Protection Law again, but I believe it would be more appropriate to call it exactly the way that the Bermudans have called it. So it would be the Cayman Immigration and Protection Law. But they have made some amendments to it. Some things that mirror what we do here, or we mirrored what they do there as well. But there are some other things in here that, when you hear about those, you may want to ensure that we have them in our new legislation or amendments to our legislation as well. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hi, good afternoon, O.C. Good afternoon. I want to apologize for kind of diverting from your discussion topics today a little, and I'm hoping you will give me an opportunity to just make a call for safety on Sunday morning. I'm calling on behalf of the Kiwanis Club.
Okay, yes, sure.
And we're having our bike ride from East End, the Blowholes, to Spotsdock on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to take a moment to appeal to the public to, exercise a little bit of caution when driving on the road during that period from 7 to about 9:30 in the morning.
Caution and patience.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. It will be greatly appreciated, especially when overtaking and passing our riders on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And also just to say to our riders we want to encourage single file riding and to use the road as safely as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We need to respect each other, both motorists and cyclists, and use the road safely. So I want to thank you, and I'm hoping to see you out there, OC, on your bike.
I will be up there. I will definitely be up there.
Lovely.
And
I'm not going to take too much of your time, and I want you to just, while you're on the radio here and there, just put the word out there for us, please, and encourage safety for us.
I certainly will. I certainly will be doing that as well. Okay. Yes, folks. Kiwanis Bikeathon was called. Used to be all the way down to Smith's Barcadere, but it's now changed. So the tourist landing at spots, we're very worthy cause as well. Been taking place over the year. Probably the longest running bike ride in the Cayman Islands now as well, and want to support it. If you can't support it, then certainly ensure that if you are on the roads that you exercise caution and patience as well, which in that patience includes if you are behind riders, wait until it is absolutely clear in the opposite direction before you attempt to cross. Please don't cross on where there are bends in the road, where there are corners that you can't see around, because the instinct, the reaction of a driver is going to be, if they're crossing and something is coming in their direction, they're going to try to squeeze back in, and that's going to be at the expense of the cyclists as well. But support a worthy cause. And it's early in the morning, so it shouldn't be a whole lot of traffic. But these days, gosh, I see 4 o'clock in the morning and the traffic on the road, and you wonder, where in the world are they going? I remember on a Sunday morning in Cayman, I would ride up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was hardly any traffic on the roads. You look at the traffic between Frank Sound and Bordentown and Discover Drive in that area on a Sunday morning. It is unbelievable. A combination of things, people going to church, others going to work. And some people, I am made to understand, just go on the road because they have a car. And they absolutely have nothing planned, no intention, just to get in that car and drive as well. How unfortunate. But again, Kiwanis Bikeathon taking place on Sunday the 8th, starting at the Blowholes. That reminds also those drivers in East End. I have been there at the Blowholes waiting for the ride to start, and drivers are speeding through that area. When you see a crowd of people, and they're usually on the side of the road, slow down. What you're trying to impress people that you can drive fast or whatever? You're not impressing anyone. All you're doing is you're putting their safety at risk, and possibly your own as well. With that, let's take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walker's Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walker's Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I think, Ms. Susan, you're going to play that WhatsApp, a voice note for us.
Oh, see, that was a mouthful you said just now when you were talking to your last caller. That is so true. And we all tell them when they carry on like that, I say, listen, we Caymanians, certain people know when we are Caymanians because of our behavior is so different from them that have positions and act the way and give Cayman a bad name. Thank you very much for saying what you said. Have a great weekend.
Okay, I want to thank that listener as well, for that. Any callers on whole. So this person, and I'm glad that they sent this because I was going to mention it as well. They said that same problem that the caller is complaining about, talking about the agriculture department at Agricola Drive, said has always been the same. Hoping Wilbur gets that department sorted out. And knowing the Wilbur Welcome that I know, I'm sure that he is going to get it sorted out, that he's a visionary, number one, a visionary. So we hope that he will get the full support of the minister and the ministry in terms of the things that need to be done there. There's been talk about expanding the area. You see the little small parking lot that you have to maneuver in there, as well as the makeshift cashier area. Another thing is you don't even have a direct phone line. I think maybe if you know the extension, you can dial it direct. But the numbers listed for there, you go through a switchboard and then you say to them, can you put me through to the retail section? And let's have a proper warehouse, a proper showroom. Let's offer more things to the public as well. If we can subsidize other entities, there's no reason why you can't subsidize agriculture as well, because it has to do with sustainability. And we have to be able to sustain ourselves as well. If you are wanting to encourage backyard farming and everything, then you have to make certain things convenient for the public as well. A lot of people do support that department. A lot more people will support it if there are proper facilities and conveniences there for the public as well. I believe we do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Oh, no one. Sorry. I thought we had someone on the landline. So, let's hold the callers until 1:45. So the Bermuda work permit policy for 2025. They have some things in there about appealing decisions. It's interesting to note that their appellate process, any decision is appealed to the minister, so the minister will hear the appeal and settle any appeal. So you don't see a lot of immigration cases going to the courts in Bermuda because appeals are to the minister. No tribunal, no tiered system. It is to the minister at the end of the day. There are rules about the payment of government taxes and employment benefits, penalties for compliance, penalties and compliance. That's something that we have in our legislation as well. For them, their act empowers the chief immigration officer to impose civil penalties of up to $10,000 on employers who abuse immigration policy. Employers and employees should review the act to ensure they understand the consequences of making untruthful and or fraudulent statements in immigration application. Complaints regarding employers and or employees who abuse this policy and or immigration law, and they have a compliance section of the department that those complaints can be made to as well. This one we're going to talk about later because I'm going to take the caller. Responsibilities of the employer to fill job vacancies. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Orrett. How are you today?
Good afternoon. I am fine. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm a little pissed off here today, so I'm going to be as nice as I can be.
Okay. And if you're not as nice as you have to be, we may have to intervene.
I'm going to put this out there because I am really sick and tired of the way the public transport board operates. Okay?
Okay.
I have been trying to call to make a complaint, and all you get are voicemails, telephones that ring off and say voicemails are full when you hit the option.
Wow.
You go to the public transport board little booth there by the library where the buses park up, and they give you a form to fill out. I don't understand why they don't do more, and I'm going to say why.
Okay.
We have bus drivers that are speeding on the roadways in West Bay. When they get into West Bay, they chase one another down because they see a bus in front of them, and they are not following their route. They are cutting off on Bankers Road, and they're also cutting off on Captain Joe and Osbert Drive. Okay? I'm sick and tired of the rudeness from a lot of them. They just don't care. And it's the foreign bus drivers, okay? Mainly the Jamaicans. They're rude. And no one is doing anything about it. And I want something addressed about it. There are no people coming, and the public transport board used to put employees on the buses to see how they're operating. They need to get back to doing that.
I had to monitor them, yeah.
they need to stop hanging out in Georgetown and get to West Bay and the rest of the district and see what is happening on the roadways. The buses are speeding crazy on the roads. They're not following their bus route. They are rude to customers. I have had to call a number of them out. I just told one just a while ago to slow down because he was speeding. They don't want to listen. And I am tired of complaining. The police, you complain to them, nothing gets done. So I'm putting it out there. I would like, hopefully, maybe you or someone at Radio Cayman can get someone from the Public Transport Board to come on your show so that we can address what needs to be addressed with these public bus drivers. They are rude, and the people are sick and tired of it. I am one that is sick and tired of it, and I've had enough.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you, if I may interrupt. Yes, so, the only place that you were able to go to register your complaint was the depot by CIBC and the library. The Public Transport Board, they don't have other offices other than that?
They have an office up at Rankin Square, but that's the number I keep calling, the options it tells me to do. They don't pick their phone up.
Well, maybe if
call, or the voicemail is full.
Maybe you should show up there in person one of these times then.
That's about the only other thing to go do, and I'm going to do that next week. But I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
If there's some way that all you can get someone, I think it's Mr. Dirk Banks that's in charge. That's what, when you pull it up online.
Yes.
I don't see that man anywhere. So I don't know where he is.
And I do believe they have a board as well.
Yeah, well, I'm asking if all you can see, if all you can get someone on there, because it needs onto your show, because this problem needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Because they are speeding. Some of them get on their phone and they will call the next bus up and tell them there's another bus in front of them. I had one the other day, last week sometime, that he asked me where I was going. I said, I will tell you where I'm going when I get there. He said, because he's coming off. I said, no, you're not going to go through here because I'm going down here, past Captain Joe Osbert Road. I'm going further down on Birch Tree Hill, and you need to take me down there. They don't care. They don't have any respect for their passengers. And I said today in the bus, me and another Caymanian gentleman were talking because we had an issue with this one this morning, that he's running his mouth, and the other gentleman said to him, I'm sick and tired of the way all you drive. You all 5 buses are racing behind one another.
Putting you at risk, yeah.
I'm going to call and the person, he named the person, I'm going to say he knows someone in there, that he's going to call them and address the problem with them. But this madness has to stop on these roads. They're chasing down the next $2. And if I said to the bus driver today, if you get in an accident here today with us bus drivers, you probably don't even have the amount of insurance to cover us. What are you going to do? Because I'm going to come after you if I get injured. The lack of respect for their customers, which are paying their salaries, is audacious. And I am sick and I am tired of it. I want somebody that is listening. I don't care who the minister is at this point. Somebody needs to get to that Public Transport Board and do something with it, because they're not policing these bus drivers, and I'm sick and tired of the rudeness that they give you. I am not begging anyone to take a bus. I am paying for it.
Yep.
And if these bus drivers cannot respect their customers, then they need to be taken off of the road. The few Caymanian bus drivers we have are polite. It is the foreigners. It is one nationality, and it's Jamaicans. And they are rude.
Okay, caller. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. We hope and trust that someone is listening. And I would add to it the other bad driving habit, bad and dangerous driving habit that they have is they love to tailgate other vehicles that are in front of them as well, which is, you're inviting an accident to take place when you're tailgating like that as well. But some of those practices, most of them, they bring them here with them. They bring them from somewhere else. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much. We have to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. We have a caller on hold. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, O.C. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Same old. I was listening to your last call, and I want to second O.C. everything that lady has said, because coming down from Prospect in the morning, I mean, you got to see what these people do in order to try to get their people to their destination on time. I mean, it just puts everybody else in danger, and they have no regards for anybody else. And I mean, I don't come on to your talk show unless I come with facts and things that I've seen and experienced, right? And something need to be done. Before I go that route, OC, tell me something. If one of those buses was to get in a serious accident, and let's just say 2-3 people get killed in one of them buses, can the government be held responsible for that?
I'm not a lawyer, but I would imagine that one could question whether or not the person's driving ability was properly assessed. Whether, let's say, for instance, if the person had a number of violations, driving violations, one could say that to a certain extent that the government may have contributed to that happening by not properly vetting or monitoring that driver. They could, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but one could look into it to see whether or not there's any contingent liability for government.
Well, see, I'm not even near a lawyer, but I mean, you know, a lot of time common sense goes a long ways over a lot of other things. And that particular service is not a public service business. It's private, and it should not be carrying the name public, because these are things that has been happening in this country for too long. People pays no notice of these things, whether, you know, that could be the case. We could get sued like you would not believe, because it's under the umbrella of, public bus service, and it's not a public bus service, and it should be addressed.
No, but I think right? when they say public, what they mean is a service that is provided to the public as opposed to a government bus service. Two different things.
Yeah, but it should not have the public. It's why public is us. We are the public, right?
Yeah.
The service that is being provided is not being provided. It's being provided by private individuals.
But to the public. So it's public transport for the public, if you were to put it in other words.
Well, I don't think it's right. It should not be named public, because I understand what you're saying, but you know, in respect, it's not really a public service, because they carry it's not a government entity. Government don't own those vehicles. They don't insure them. They don't license them. They don't hire any drivers. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Fine. I'll accept that.
And the same way I said to you, can the government be held, liable if something serious will happen? And you said, well, I'm not a lawyer, but yes, there is a possibility. Mm-hmm. So if there was not under that umbrella public, I mean, there's nothing you could hold us responsible for, because it says nothing about, public.
No, but who gives them the authority to operate? That's what I'm talking about in terms of possible government liability. Government license them to operate. They regulate them. You have to, certain things have to be on your bus. At one point in time, it was you had to actually have a uniform. There was a time when you had to have certain stickers on your bus, as well. So they are regulated by government.
Well, okay. Well, that's it. Okay, I have no issues with that. But this is why the government should take more responsibility and try to, fix whatever is wrong with these people. Because I was in Jamaica many, many, many years ago, and I have no intentions of going back in this lifetime, because I made a mistake one time, and I stopped to let somebody out, and I had the windows down, and I guess there was some people stand up, and they said to me, do you realize what you did? I said, I don't understand. They say, you just stopped to let somebody out. And I knew right away what they meant, because automatically I became as a stop sign. I was coming towards Pasadora Place a couple mornings ago from the street light there, and I decide, I've always been courteous when it comes to driving, but I am not being as courteous anymore because some of these people that you go out of your way to let them out, they don't even have the decency to stick their finger up or nothing to say, thank you, God bless you, or nothing like that. That is not where we come from, OC, right? That is not where we're from. And I made a mistake a couple of days ago, and I stopped to let these people out. And I had a Jamaican gentleman in my truck, been here for 20 plus years. You probably know him. I'm sure you do. He knows everybody. And I said, Junior, look at this. He said, yeah, I see it. You stopped to let one person out, and everybody think now they got the whole right away. And that was a mistake. So all of my nice courtesy that I am trying to provide for people that appreciate it, it's making me to where, I don't want to, deal with that anymore. And it's really, really sad because all of these things that we are doing is hurting us. It's not reflecting good on us as Caymanians. And this is why the government needs to come in and say, look, well, I'm hoping that this government make a lot of changes in this country because if not, I talk to so many people who see that, they're saying that, they have to find someplace else to go. I don't want to go anywhere else, OC, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to go anywhere else because listening to you a couple of mornings ago about what almost happened to you on your bicycle, I mean, why? I mean, 4:15 in the morning, and that's the level of disrespect that they got have for you guys on your bicycle.
Yep.
I mean, you just try to get him to stop and pull him out of the car and beat his brains out of him. I know that's what you wanted to say, but you didn't go that way. But that's what people like them need, right? Anyway, I'll see you. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and please stay safe as well. Any other caller on hold, Miss Susan? So 4 minutes that I can talk a little bit more about the new Bermuda work permit policy. So they have a provision in there that says in most cases the main criterion in assessing whether or not to grant foreign nationals permission to work in Bermuda is whether there is a suitably qualified Bermudan, spouse of a Bermudan, or permanent resident certificate holder who is interested in the job and available to do it. Similar provisions that we have, almost identical. It goes on to say, consequently, most work permit categories require employers to conduct and this is important, bona fide search, which includes advertising vacancies on www.bermudajobboard.bm and in the newspaper. Employers have a duty to hire suitably qualified Bermudians, spouses of Bermudans and PRC holders who fulfill the minimum advertised requirements. That's an interesting part as well. Minimum. You've heard one of our callers talk about the fact the government policy, if a Caymanian and a non-Caymanian applied for a position and the non-Caymanian to a certain extent has something, one thing or a few things over the Caymanian, then they must, the job goes to the non-Caymanian as opposed to the Caymanian. So in the case of Bermuda, what they require is for the Bermudan to fulfill the minimum advertised requirements. Also, these words, bona fide search, a bona fide one, not one that you're advertising simply for the sake of advertising, knowing quite well that you already have someone lined up for the job as well. He says, it also says that an employer who applies to employ a foreign national in a job for which there was a Bermudan, spouse of Bermudan, or a PRC holder applicant is required to give clear, specific, and satisfactory reasons for not employing each Bermudan, spouse of Bermudan, or PRC holder. The employer of the work permit holder who signs the application documentation is responsible for its contents. This responsibility cannot be delegated under the Act. What do they mean by that? When we return from this headline news, this break for headline news, I will tell you what is meant by that, because here in the Cayman Islands, we have some entities in the private sector that really do not help, do nothing to assist in the employment of Caymanians. As a matter of fact, they are a roadblock to that as well. I will share that with you shortly.
Radio station.
Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Authorities searching for missing Bodentown resident and Compass News reporter Andrel Harris have recovered an item of clothing linked to him. Police confirmed that the clothing first spotted during earlier search efforts has been examined and found to contain an item belonging to him. His family has been notified and a family liaison officer continues to provide support. Search operations led by the RCIPS and Cayman Islands Coast Guard remain ongoing with assistance from partner agencies and members of the public. Officials urge anyone with information to come forward as efforts to locate Mr. Harris continues. In regional news, the Antigua and Barbuda government will introduce legislation to clear the criminal records of individuals convicted for possessing small amounts of ganja. The law, drafted by Attorney General Stedroy Benjamin, will grant pardons for those convicted of possessing less than 15 grams of marijuana, as well as individuals sentenced under COVID-19 related laws. Additionally, Prime Minister Gaston Brown will advise the Governor General to pardon rehabilitated inmates involved in the HAPPI program. Pardoned individuals will receive full-time employment opportunities, reinforcing the government's commitment to rehabilitation. And a virtual meeting of Caribbean community leaders scheduled for today to discuss Haiti's ongoing political and socio-economic crisis has been postponed. The Guyana-based CARICOM Secretariat cited unforeseen circumstances but did not provide a new date. The meeting was also expected to address regional free movement under the CARICOM single market and economy. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. So I was sharing with you the new policy paper that has been put out by the government of Bermuda, the new work permit policy 2025. So it talks about the fact that the employer of the work permit holder who signs the application documentation is responsible for its contents. This responsibility cannot be delegated under the Act. So we have employment companies that provide employment services here in the Cayman Islands, but they also submit applications on behalf of employers. And some of them act as if they are law firms because they write and they say, we submit this application on behalf of our client. Our client tells us this, our client advises us of this, that, and the other. What the Bermuda Act says is no matter who submits the application for you, you as the employer will be responsible for what is put in that. Okay? In that application. So also, it says by way of example, an explanation that a Bermudan spouse or Bermudan or PRC holder simply does not meet job requirements is an insufficient response to this requirement. The explanation provided for each candidate must cite what particular requirements or experience the Bermudian, spouse of a Bermudian, and PRC holder is lacking by reference to the job advertisement. Similarly, simply citing that an applicant is not the right, quote, fit, and we've seen that on many occasions here in Cayman, saying that the person is not the right fit for a hiring organization is insufficient explanation and must be expanded upon. Oh boy, I'm telling you, it is unbelievable how things mirror themselves in the various jurisdictions that we're talking about. You could, in this, some of these things, you could substitute Bermuda for Cayman, and the same thing holds through here. Why is it that we allow people to come in to our country and control the narrative? Why is it that we allow them to come in and determine the direction that we are going to go? Why is it that we allow them to come in and determine the rules of the game, as well? Rhetorical question again. Okay, so, and this is important, and I think this is right, and some boards recognize the same thing here. They point out that it is important to note that although the department scrutinizes each application submitted by employers, the department does not possess the power to force an employer to hire Bermudans, spouses of Bermudians, PRC holders, or any person. But, here's the interesting part. The department can only prevent the hiring of a foreign national by refusing to grant permission to work. That is the power that the board or the department has in that. They can refuse the work permit. My only issue with us here in Cayman, because we want to be Mr. Nice Guy, we provide too many avenues of appeal. Now, some may argue and say, we're a law-abiding country and we have to give, people their rights. We have a Bill of Rights. Yes, we have a Bill of Rights. And once you consider the person's rights under that Bill of Rights, then you can make the decision as well. But sometimes people feel badly about refusing. Or if you're going to refuse, grounds of natural justice, you have to first, if it's a renewal, you have to indicate your intention to refuse, give them an opportunity to respond before you refuse. And when you do all of that, then boom, 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 appeals process kicks in as well. And before you know it, and before all of the appeals have been exhausted, person has reached the point where they can apply for PR as well. Just saying. Let's share some more with you. You said, notwithstanding this, it is expected that employers will fill jobs in the following order. And we have that here in our law too. First in the order is a Bermudian. Second is a non-Bermudian spouse, including the widow or widower of a Bermudian. Third is a divorced parent of a Bermudian. Fourth is a permanent resident certificate holder. Next is a Bermudian with a qualifying Bermudian connection. And the reason for that is that, a non-Bermudian with a qualifying Bermudian connection. And last and least, in this case, other non-Bermudians. They go on to have in their draft legislation where there is a need to lay staff off. We don't have this in our legislation. Where there is a need to lay staff off, employers are reminded that where there is more than one person in a certain job category, non-Bermudians are to be laid off first. That is, before Bermudians are laid off. When we're looking at our legislation, let's make sure that that is in there. My intentions, of course, to share this with others. Responsibility for work permit holders. How important. At all times, an employer must be mindful of and adhere to the conditions and or limitations placed on his or her work permit and of the job responsibilities contained in his or her job description. He or she must also take note of the general information listed on the back page of his or her work permit document or on their website. Also, where it is the responsibility of the employee to repatriate his or her dependents, he or she must honor this commitment and take immediate steps to ensure that when he or she departs Bermuda, his or her dependents will depart too, unless the dependents have permission to reside and seek employment as per a particular section of the law. We have similar provisions here as well. We still have one more break to take, right, Ms. Susan? Let's take that break now because we're almost there. We have about 9 minutes left to go. I went past that last break. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway, eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This summer, choose from 10 international destinations for your vacation with Cayman Airways. Explore New York, discover Denver, roam Los Angeles, play in Tampa, shop in Miami, tour Panama, uncover Havana, hike in La Ceiba, jam in Kingston, or relax in Montego Bay. Connecting flights are also available from the sister islands. Cayman Airways offers more international non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline, and the lowest rates for checked bags. Book today at CaymanAirways.com, download our new mobile app, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. Come fly with us and relax with your uniquely Caymanian airline.
Are you feeling overwhelmed, sad, stressed out, or suicidal and need support? Call 1-800-534-6463. K-Mind, Mental Health Helpline. It's okay to ask for help. K-Mind Mental Health Helpline, available from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday. It's free and confidential support and guidance on your emotional and psychological health.
It's Open Line on Talk Today. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990, or 925-3261. Call now.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Last commercial break. We have about 15 minutes left to go in the show. One caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes. Well, I felt better and I felt much worse. I know there are a lot of people feeling a lot worse than me. So I'm grateful and thankful. With regards to quite a few of the things you're talking about, it's interesting. But firstly, I'd like to say I can imagine how feelings from Mr. Andrew Harrison, the family for this, his situation. Because I've experienced that our family has about the loss of season 48 years ago when someone is missing. But I think these are things that need to be resolved and resolved very quickly. Other than the incident of that young woman, senior government employee, I guess she was with the monetary authority, I think, in a very senior position. I think those are two very serious incidents for his that need to be resolved. If we need outside help to do it, we should try and acquire that help. I won't go into saying anymore, but the situation with the money thing, with what you're talking about. First, I want to say something. We talk about gratuities all the while to people. We know that insurance agents and real estate agents who are in the limelight very much in these days, they get commissions. They work, mostly their remuneration is based on commissions, too, because especially real estate agents. And I imagine when they go to a bank to sort of, with their, situation, trying to acquire a loan for a mortgage or to upscale their car or do some repairs on their house or, pay for an apartment, whatever. I imagine that the government honors that commission as part of their salaries or remunerations. Do we know if the bank honors that for them?
Not aware. Couldn't say.
But
yeah.
I think we should be aware of these things. We should know, and we should ask them themselves and the government, because I do believe that the banks do honor their commissions. I am of the opinion that they do. I mean,
you mean counting that as a part of their salary?
For your salary, yes. Don't you think so? I'm just asking your personal opinion.
If you're working on a commissions basis, yes, I would imagine that how it is calculated, how it is computed, whether or not an average annual salary is taken into consideration. But I would imagine that if you're working on a commission based only, that you shouldn't be excluded from applying for a loan. That's simply because you're working on a commission basis. That you should have be able to use some historical figures to support your application.
I understand all that, Stuart.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm driving at is this. Whenever people go to a bank, and we know this has been a problem, that work for gratuities, and that's been years now that they're paid gratuities along the hotels here. We know that along West Bay. And we know that when they go in, I've often heard them come and say to me, Mr. Mick, I can't get this. I want to upgrade my house or do this or do that. Because they don't recognize gratuity as part of their salary.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It is a commission. It's a percentage-based thing, and it's part of their salaries that they get, and it's recorded and given to them. And it's a percentage base, and it's a regular thing. It's a part of they earn it. And I don't see why the banks will not accept it. I cannot understand it.
Mm-hmm,
and it's people that are there for years that are earning these gratuities. I don't see any difference between that and a commission paid to a real estate agent or anyone who works on their salesmen also in other fields that we know they get commissions. And I'm pretty sure that the banks honor that or recognize as part of their salaries. So I don't know why the government hasn't stepped in from a long time ago, because this is nothing new what I'm saying. It has been mentioned before. And I think the government could act on this, because to me it is important. We're talking about a little man and a work permit. There should have something to be done about immigration and so forth. And why isn't this problem addressed? I have no idea why they haven't acted on this. With regards to CUC, the water authority and so forth, I do not think that CUC raises their rates every year. I don't believe so. I don't think so. Do you know of them doing that every year?
Well, it's not. It's certainly not based on annually, and they can only raise it once they make a request to the authority that governs them, and that is approved. But normally, it's not done every year. No.
No. I've never seen. Sometimes I believe it. The rate has remained the same for many, many years. What people don't seem to want to accept is the fact that the fuel is a major part of the bill. Anyone who looks at the bill, it's plainly written out for them to see. And we do have one of the best services, if not the very best in the Caribbean, without a doubt. Their ratio of power being supplied to power cuts is by far the best in the Caribbean. It actually outmatches Florida, I believe. And it won't go into that, but it's an excellent service and employs a lot of Caymanians. We can curse them out all we want. It is a pass-through with every company. I know with FP&L in Florida, the company that controls all of Florida, but they're hooked in on direct grill with the whole federal thing. We know that's a federal law there, the Georgia Power and Light, etc., and vice versa. In emergencies, and it's a direct pass-through. The same thing up there. The fuel factor is passed through. It's worked out. They know how much fuel is consumed per kilowatt hour, etc. And it's easy for them to work it out, the electrical engineers, and read upon. So that is a major part. One of the things we have to realize is this. we have to keep a close watch on how we do things, using air conditioning units, which is a major factor in your pricing, in your bill, and so forth, and try to avoid using them when you don't need to use them, and try to accept the fact you're living in a tropical climate. Get used to a little bit of heat. Get used to a little bit of heat instead of children staying inside in 68 degree temperature weather. And ridiculous. Come outside and stay for a while and play for a while and get a little bit of sunlight, vitamin D on you, and so forth. But I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to push for, more reasonable. But this is just a fact. If you want a very high standard of living, you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for it, and that's what happens here, as anyone can see. A high standard of living. And we talk about cost of living, but cost of living for whom? For whom? Because there are people here earning tremendous salaries, as we know. The cost of living is not high for them at all. It would be ridiculous for us to blanket everything and say cost of living. It's high for for the ordinary person earning below that certain high bracket amount, and for medium people and so forth, we do know it's high. But for those people, it's not high at all. They enjoy a type of living that they couldn't enjoy elsewhere, and I say that without any hesitation. For that amount of money, so all these things come into effect. We can't go back to the old days. I wish we could. I really wish we could. That's the type of life I enjoyed. But I'm sorry, alas and alack, and they had buses too that used to take the staff to work. I know that for a fact. The Dafontaine Hotel became Royal Palms, and the Galleon and so forth. They had staff buses because it was all West Bay people and all that, and that we know this, and I don't need to belabor that point. Some people do remember, quite a few, but we can even these things out, but it takes courage. It takes courage on the part of our legislative assembly members. I'm sorry to say, but the prices and cost of living and all these issues are strictly the responsibility of them. It must be laid on their head, and we cannot run a government by referenda. It can't be done. I used to think so, but it's not possible, and it shouldn't be done. We did not need to hold any referendum. Thank you, sir, for taking my call.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend as well. So this Bermuda work permit policy is an extensive, very, very extensive document. I believe we have a WhatsApp caller coming through. We might be able to squeeze that caller in. We only have about 3 minutes left to go. Oh, that may have been one that was before. Okay. So this is a very extensive document. They have more provisions. I must say, though, that when I scroll through this, in some instances, Bermuda is much more liberal than we are here in Cayman, whereas in other instances, they're pretty tough as well. They, of course, have the requirements for proficiency in the English language, and they also use the TOEIC online language test. Employers' requirement to repatriate. Here's one. Seeking employment, a non-Bermudian resident may not look for a job without first obtaining permission from the Department of Immigration unless they are exempted from work permit control by law. Those non-Bermudians who are exempt from work permit controls are permanent residence certificate holders and extension of spouses' employment rights holders spouses of Bermudians and job makers. So if you don't fall into that category, you have to seek permission to even look for a job when you're in Bermuda. It also says that a non-Bermudan who was a primary work permit holder but who is no longer employed and therefore no longer possesses a valid work permit may not seek employment or apply for employment without the permission of the Department of Immigration here in Cayman. Now, if your work permit is canceled, you no longer have a work permit, you cancel it, your employer cancels it, or it is expired and they haven't renewed it, you can go anywhere and look for a job. In Bermuda, you have to get the permission of the immigration department to even look for a job after that period of time. Something that we may want to consider here as well. We really, and then permission to seek employment and job changes during the first 2 years of a work permit. It says any standard or new business work permit holder may seek alternative employment without obtaining permission from the minister, provided they have completed 2 years of employment with an initial employer. So you have to complete 2 years before you can seek other employment. We call it job hopping here in Cayman, but that is in place as well. Folks, we've reached that time of the day. I want to thank all of you who not only listened and called in and actually contributed to the discussion this afternoon, but also those of you who did so this morning as well. I hope you get an opportunity to listen to or watch the proceedings of the Finance Committee, which has concluded now as well. Those proceedings have concluded, but if you get an opportunity, please go back and listen to it. Don't rely on what I have told you, even though I try to be as accurate as possible, but you can get the whole scoop and get a full understanding of it by watching it yourselves as well. Please have a safe and joyous weekend. Welcome you to join me on Monday morning for the record. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the